Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to my patch review on the Jaina patch for Heroes of the Storm. This is going in the middle of my 14 videos in the next 3 days schedule, and the only reason I'm doing it now is because it's the only video out of those 14, besides one other, that I can actually do on my own, because there's 11 of them which are with Dapratchik. I'm actually redoing some of the set review stuff because John P couldn't make it, and it's a bit choppy making half a set review with one person and half with the other person. So I'm getting Dapper on for it, and we're going to be going through all of them. And the reason I said 11 is because 2 videos for neutrals, and then I'm splitting the classes up into 9 videos, because some people only want to see one class. It makes it easier to search for. And it also means for anyone looking for a set review on Golems and Gnomes in the future, who are just getting into Hearthstone in the future, can look back on it. So that is what I'll be doing for the set review as far as that is concerned. Now, Versus Series will be out over the weekend at some point, but I've got some other stuff to do first in terms of Golems and Gnomes, and this is out now because I can do it on my own. Anyway, so, for anyone who doesn't know, this is the Heroes of the Storm patch that introduced Jaina. I will link Heroes Nexus, the website I'm using, in the description so you can see the video, and you can also look at the full patch notes, and there's a lot. This is basically like a Dota patch almost. Those are long patches. Anyway, now first thing first, Jaina was added to the game. Now this sounds okay until you realize it actually doesn't tell you anything. So I am going on to the hero description thing. So first ability, Frostbolt. Frostbolt is a skill shot with 30 mana cost, 4-second cooldown, very very short, and it stops at first target and it chills the target. That applies her passive, which is down here. It slows movement speed by 25% and applies a amplified damage debuff, where all of your other abilities deal 50% more damage, and also 4 seconds. Very, very good trait, very, very powerful, one of the stronger traits we've seen in a while. So, Frostbolt, your bread and butter ability here. Blizzard, 75 mana, 15-second cooldown. Basically, it makes a ring, 2 waves of ice fall down in the AoE ring, which you can cast at a decent range. It's not fantastic at first, but then later on you get ridiculous range increase talents on this, so it's well worth learning how to use properly. It just has absurd range when you get one of the talents. It doubles the range. It's crazy. But anyway, so this is your opener. 2 waves of ice slows them, and it also means that they're chilled, which is relevant for some of your other talents. Now, Cone of Cold is a cone in front of you that chills them and deals 40 damage at level 1 and scales a bit. So, Cone of Cold, Blizzard, your 2 openers, they chain well together to keep the slow going, and they have long cooldowns, so you need to make sure you use them appropriately, whereas Frostbolt is your spammy ability. Now, Command Water Elemental goes with the first heroic ability, Water Elemental. Water Elemental, 75 mana, 80-second cooldown, which is not bad. 80 seconds is okay. Summons a water elemental, dealing damage in the area and chills them, so it slows them, and then it attacks them. And the attacks do a decent amount of damage, and they splash. They also chill them. So it's a continuous slow. Now you can control your water elemental by using Command Water Elemental. So basically when water elemental's on the field, your R button is replaced with Command Water Elemental, which allows you to pick what it attacks and where it moves. Very, very good for kiting, because you can just summon it on someone, chills them, and it will continue to attack them. And so you can run away, or you can just kite them back and kill them. Very good ultimate. Ring of Frost. After a short delay, create a ring at target location, deals 244 plus 24. Basically, it summons a ring, and it's a short delay. This is more like a second, or a second and a half even. It's quite a big delay. So it summons a ring. Then the ring explodes, not the thing in the middle. The ring explodes. So weirdly enough, if you can't get out of the ring, just go to the middle and it doesn't explode, unless you get the talent later. But anyway, so the ring does a decent amount of damage after a delay, and it roots you for 3 seconds. It doesn't stun you. Now, it also leaves a ring on the outside for 3 seconds, which chills anyone who goes through it. I personally don't like this ultimate. I think it's really, really slow. It's good for crowd control, but I think Water Elemental basically just does what Ring of Frost does, but better. It just doesn't do as much damage, but it's better at chilling, it has splash, better at pushing, everything. I just like it. Now, we already went over a trait, and this will come up when we go over the talents quickly. There is currently a bug with Jaina where you can only use the basic talents, which is hampering her effectiveness drastically. But if you try her out in the try setting in the shop, she's actually fairly powerful with all the other traits. So, at level 1, she can get Condor's Pursuit, which is not very good. Winter's Reach, increased range is okay, but the base range is actually pretty good. So you won't really need this. You can get it, but I would say Lingering Chill, which increases the chill duration, is also not that good because Frostbolt, is it called Frostbolt? Yeah, it is. Has a 4-second cooldown and it chills, so it's basically permanent chill. Whereas Deep Chill is a very, very strong talent because it increases the slow, which is absolutely crazy. 35% slow on every ability is a little insane. Now, you won't need the increased chill duration for the bonus damage from your passive when it comes to Frostbolt because of a talent you get at level 7. We'll get there when we get there. Now, at level 4, this is one of the single best selections of talents I've seen in a while for level 4. Envenom, good. Massive burst damage. Arcane Intellect, basically every single time you use an attack or a ability, you get mana back whenever they're chilled. Frostbolt becomes basically free. It has 30 mana, and it costs 30 mana, and it has a cooldown, so you regenerate the 5 over the cooldown, so it's basically free. Basic attack giving extra mana is also fine. Jaina has a couple mana problems, but she can go for a decent amount of time, so Arcane Intellect might not be that essential. Or if you're going for a pushing build, though, I could definitely go for it. Snowstorm is quite good. Increased radius is very, very handy because the initial radius is a little small. This guarantees you're going to hit both waves, and if you get the talent later on, all 3 waves. So, pretty good talent. Frost Shards is okay. It basically just pierces. I don't really like this one because I don't think Pierce is as good, but I could definitely see taking it. I think it is quite good. Now, something else, I think this works with Ice Lance, so if you pierce 2 targets, it gets no cooldown. I'll have to test that, but if it works that way, that's ridiculous. So I'm definitely going to try it out. Alright, on to level 7, Ice Flows. Double the width of Cone of Cold, and each target hit reduces the cooldown by 0.5. This is good for pushing. I think there's a pushing build here somewhere. Tons of building damage, and with Water Elemental, you can do a lot of damage to buildings. So I think there's going to be a pushing build. We'll have to see how good it is, though. Apart from that, though, I wouldn't take Ice Flows because there's a very, very powerful talent in this particular section. Frostbitten, increased amplified damage on your trait. Good talent, but there's something way stronger, which is Ice Lance. Ice Lance is insane. It reduces the cooldown of Frostbolt by 2 seconds if it impacts a chilled target. Keep in mind, its total cooldown is 4. So, if it impacts a chilled target, they're never getting away. As long as you don't miss an Ice Lance, you have permanent amp damage and permanent chill. And if you miss one, it's fine. 4-second slow duration, 4-second cooldown. So it's absolutely fine. And if you're good at hitting them, it's crazy. Now, something I do want to test is Ice Lance along with Frost Shards. See if that reduces twice. If it does, I think that's an insane combination. But if it doesn't, I wouldn't even take Frost Shards at all, I think. Arcane Intellect and Snowstorm, both very good talents. Last but actually possibly least for level 7 is Frost Armor. Enemy heroes that attack you are chilled. That's actually a really, really good effect if they attack you. Now, every 8 seconds, you can block the next basic attack from an enemy hero, reducing its damage by 24%. I don't think this is very good. It does, I mean, you need to play it in an actual game, and this is locked right now, so I'm not sure. I don't think it's very good, but we'll definitely have to see. As I said, Water Elemental. So we got some damage here. It does 50 damage at level 10. No, it does more than 50 at level 10. I think it scales from level 1. It's a bit confusing. But it chills whenever it attacks and has splash damage. Good ability. Ring of Frost is a little on the low side. I'm not sure if Water Elemental does 50 or it does more than that. I think it does 50 on the impact damage. It would be nice to know how much it actually attacks for, but we'll have to see. Now, Sprint at level 13. Sprint is always a very, very good one, but there's some really crazy talents here. Icy Veins, reduced your... It may... Alright, so this is an absolutely insane new talent. It makes basic attack cooldowns recharge 3 times as fast, so 3 times attack speed. I mean, not attack speed. 3 times cooldown reduction. Sorry, I misread that a bit. So you get 3 times cooldown reduction and half mana costs for 5 seconds. I'm not sure how good this is. However, think about it this way. You play Icy Veins, and it's kind of like Rewind. You get reduced mana costs and 15 seconds of cooldown reduction over the full 5, which is very, very good. Doesn't work on your ultimate, obviously, because that's insane. What Icy Veins does let you do is it gives your Blizzard a basically 5-second cooldown. It gives your Cone of Cold a 3-second cooldown, I think, and Ice Lance has a 0-second cooldown. Basically, at this point, it's like a 1-second cooldown. By the time you throw in that one out, you can get 5 Ice Lances in Icy Veins if you do it properly. So, very, very good ability. Definitely worth having a look at. Improved Ice Block. This is normal Ice Block, puts you in stasis, but when it expires, nearby enemies are chilled. I don't like this ability. Stormfront. This is the other contender for Sprint and Icy Veins. Yes, Jaina has a jam-packed with insane power, rank 13. Stormfront doubles the cast range on your Blizzard. Sounds about right. It's absolutely insane how long the range goes. It's longer than your Ice Lance. It's longer than you can cast your ultimate. It's longer than most people can even cast abilities. We're talking about Stormfront's... Stormfront increases your... Basically, it increases your range on Blizzard to the point when it's probably about half that of a Falstad ult. That's a decent... I think that's a decent comparison there. It's about half the cast range of Falstad. It's about same... I think it's about the same range as the fully charged Gazla laser. Yeah. Which is ridiculous. That's a long range for a slow. And it does increase your poke potential a lot. With Stormfront, you can poke, and then you can use Ice Lance, and you can poke, use Ice Lance, go in, cast Water Elemental, get back a bit, poke a bit more. Very, very good ability. I think this and Icy Veins are for the offensive, and Sprint is also very good if you want to play a bit more of a brawler and just want to get out of sticky situations. On to level 16. Level 16 has a couple interesting ones here. First one is that... Wait, no, wrong. What the hell's going on here? Anyway, so first thing, Northern Exposure. Enemies damaged by Cone of Cold also afflicted with Vulnerable, increasing the damage they take by 25% for 2 seconds. This is arguably very good, although it's only 2 seconds, so it's basically like an extra chill. No, it's about 25% increase on chill. I would actually just take the increased talent for chill. It does improve your allies' damage output, only for 2 seconds though, so you need to be ridiculously well organized to get that off. Ice Barrier. 25% of the damage you deal is shields, basically. So it adds to your trait. Whenever you deal damage to a chilled enemy, you get shields. Now, the shields don't last very long, unfortunately, but the point is you get shields. I think this is pickable. It's not very good, but I think it's pickable. Now, the next one is Snow Crash. This increases the number of waves on Blizzard from 2 to 3. I think this is very good. It basically increases Blizzard's damage by 50%. And increases the duration of the slow. So, very, very good talent. And then the last one is Numbing Blast, which is a root on chilling. It's a root on chilled targets if you use Cone of Cold, but it's only 1 second, so I'm not sure if it's really that good. On to level 20. Now, these are usually 2 vanilla ones and then 2 upgrades to ultimates. So, Swift Storm comes in here. Don't dismount from taking damage, and the increased mount speed of 20%. It's an okay one. It doesn't really hold a candle to the rest of the stuff, though. Bolt of the Storm, always good, always the trustworthy one, very powerful, one of the better level 20 talents. Blink is amazing. Then there's Wintermute. Now, this is one of the things that I would actually pick over Bolt of the Storm. Maybe. It needs testing. It's ridiculous. Basically, what happens is that your Water Elemental copies, and I mean that it costs the same ability in the same direction, your basic abilities. It has 50% increased cast range, so it can cast from way behind you, and it has 50% less damage because that'd be overpowered. However, when you have Water Elemental out, it basically improves your total damage output by 75%, because the Water Elemental does a decent amount of damage on its own. That is ridiculous. It also means that if you get this and you push a fort, you'll take it out in about 20 seconds. And I mean the towers included, by the way. Towers, gate, fort, everything gone. And you can get reduced cooldown on your frost bolts through chill targets, and it just gets insane. And they're all amplified by your passive, so it's just absolutely absurd how much damage this can do. Very, very powerful. Might even be worth picking up a Bolt of the Storm. Cold Snap. Yeah, the center ring doesn't explode normally. This is unbelievable how bad this is. Basically, it just makes the center ring explode as well. After the first ring expires. 3-second delay. It's doesn't do anything. It's actually kind of miserable how little this does. But anyway, so one ultimate gets a massive upgrade, one really doesn't. But anyway, so that's Jaina in a nutshell. She's the new hero. There's a couple of other heroes that will be coming out fairly soon, but that's just a basic rundown on Jaina, and I think she should be pretty fun to play with. But anyway, on to the rest of the patch. So we got a bunch of art updates, including a couple art updates from Malfurion, if I recall correctly. I think it's down here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So Malfurion got an art update. I'm okay with it. He does look a bit under the weather though. I think I would prefer this style of Malfurion with this thing's textures, because his beard at the moment kind of clips through things and it looks hilarious. The Master Malfurion, which we did not have, looks amazing though. I really like it. ETC got updated a lot. I can see why they'd update him, although I actually prefer the old one. I know why people like the new one. And the Master ETC is really, really cool. So that's the art updates as far as those two heroes are concerned. Besides that, yeah, general in-game environments have visual polish. They've been optimizing some stuff. Several abilities have new visual effects. So Nova looks different when she gets hot shots, which is now called anti-armor shells. And Rhaegar has a different animation to his Ghost Wolf attack. So he actually attacks before unghosting. But anyway, so there's a couple other things like new overlays for some of the abilities that really did not match. Like Stitches and Anubrax ult, there's new icons for those, so that's good. Now besides that, supported for 64-bit Mac users, which is always good. And in the shop, stim packs. Now stim packs are timed boosts to your gold and XP output. If you've played League of Legends, you know exactly what this is. So I'm okay with this being in the game. If people want it, they can buy it. Now there are a bunch of skins. So there's one for Jaina, which is Winter Veil Jaina. There's a reindeer Rhaegar, which looks really funny. There's a reindeer mount. So there's some cool new skins there. New bundle pack. As I said, Jaina's been added. Some new skins. Sound has been updated a decent amount. I haven't really heard this, but a lot of people don't like it, but I haven't really heard them that much. I haven't had that much time to play heroes recently. But anyway, tutorial can be launched individually from the main menu. Yeah, that's fine. Design and gameplay. This is the meat of the patch. This is where all the important stuff happens. So, design and gameplay. Line skill shots can no longer be self-cast. This was always funny. So basically, you can self-cast by using the Alt key. And line skill shots with self-cast looked really weird because they cast in a random direction. So you can't do that anymore. Something else changed to the Hearthstone, which is the recall button. You get a flat amount of health and mana after using recall. This is mostly used to not affect late game that much and to get you in the field faster in the early game, because percentage heal is the same at all levels because it's percentage based. So you get back into the field much faster at early levels, which I am okay with. Now, battlegrounds have been changed a lot. First things first, towers give XP and the town halls don't give. They basically have the majority but not all of it. So towers actually have a purpose to them now. Cursed Hollow, 1 less second to channel on the tributes. This is fine because the tributes took ages. The tributes took so long to capture, it almost wasn't worth it sometimes. So it was kind of ridiculous. So I'm happy at 6 seconds now. Dragonshire can no longer be targeted by abilities or talents from allies. This is good because Uther could keep one alive for ages and it was really stupid. So I'm happy about that. Garden of Terror, radius decrease on the curse, which is the hex. That's also fine. It was a little too good at actual combat, which a lot of people didn't pick up on. Basically, you could use the Garden Terror, force a fight, and then just murder their team. Because it hit really hard, it hexed a bunch of them, and it was super good. Haunted Mines. Now, this is my least favorite map, and most people I talk to hate this map. So, we're just going to go over the changes, which is a lot of them. First things first, increased health on the underground minions, because they were a bit too easy to kill. I'm okay with this. The underground grave golem also has increased health. I'm also okay with this. He was a bit too easy to kill. And when you do summon a grave golem, it does 20% less damage and has 20% less health. Thank you. Basically, the problem with this map was the golem won on its own. That was the problem. Like, playing Garden Terror was basically a fixed version of Haunted Mines. That was not what that map was supposed to do. It was supposed to be a different flavor of Haunted Mines, but in reality, it felt like a fixed version. So I'm happy they've changed this. The map actually might be quite good now. There's a couple of redeeming factors about that particular map, but the Golem wasn't one of them. But anyway, on to the talent changes. Conjurer's Pursuit increases mana regen by 0.5 in addition to its other effects. Now, we did see this on Jaina, so let's see if I can... So, it's Conjurer's Pursuit. Increase mana regen every 3 globes gives mana regen. So, it gives a flat amount as well. Still not good. Imposing Presence. This is the attack speed reduction whenever you get attacked is increased. That's fine. Might actually be worth picking, although I'm still not sure. Promote, which was pretty good, actually has decent duration, heals to full, and the cooldown has been halved. So that is a big buff there. Good change there. Resurgence of the Storm, increased minute cooldown. I am also fine with this because Resurgence was ridiculously overpowered, and I still think it is. Resurgence has an amazing effect, and unlike Resurrect in League of Legends, which has a 9-minute cooldown, 3 minutes, way different to 9. And also, you can pick it up at level 20, so it only affects your late game, which is when you need it, whereas in League, it affects your entire game. Like in Dota, they have buybacks instead with cooldowns, so it's supposed to be for late game, not early game, and it's the same here. Rewind. Now refreshes all ability cooldowns instead of reducing them by 10, but they increased the actual cooldown. This seems a little insane. However, they did remove it from some of the abusable heroes for this. Now, I just want to explain why this is ridiculous. A lot of heroes have long cooldowns, and by long I mean 15-20 seconds. I don't know if any of them have Rewind, but if they do, it's absolutely insane now for them. The problem with Rewind before was it was broken on certain heroes and absolutely useless on others. So I'm happy that Rewind has had this change and increased cooldowns. You can't just keep using it as a just, hey, it's a fight. I'm going to use it every single time. It was really, really silly. Searing attacks now have a crit animation. Sweet. Abathur. See what Abathur got in terms of changes. Now, Abathur was quite good, to say the least. Vile Nest, his talent, has a slow increased duration from 2 to 4, and also the slow amount decreased. I think this is an overall buff. So the slow is longer, but it doesn't slow as much. I think that's an overall buff. You actually don't move as far overall. Not sure how I feel about that. Ultimate Evolution. Cooldown no longer starts immediately, instead begins after. Thank you. This was really silly because you could have it for full duration and then it had a really short cooldown and then you just used it again and it was stupid. So I'm happy that this works this way. Basically before, as soon as you cast it, it went on cooldown and started refreshing. Whereas now it starts refreshing once the clone is gone, which I am very happy about. Now, Nubrak got a lot of changes. He was very, very overpowered. So, Imposing Presence, the slow has been added to Nubrak. Rewind has been taken away because that was way too good. Now, Hardened Carapace, the shield has been nerfed fairly heavily. Reduced base and reduced scaling. And Locust Swarm heal per tick has been reduced. That's a pretty big change there to that particular build. I still think he's playable though. I think the biggest nerf is Rewind, to be honest. Rewind going is a big nerf. I still think he's playable, but he's nowhere near as powerful as he used to be. Nowhere near. Now, Arthas, they were saying, yeah, we're going to change Arthas. Arthas is way too good. Then they did this change, which doesn't do much. Frozen Tempest, mana cost increased from 10 to 12. Now, to explain why this doesn't do anything, if you've ever played Arthas, he never runs out of mana. You can't. His passive gives him an attack that restores mana. And you can get a talent which lets you attack twice with it. You just don't run out of mana. It's like not possible. So, Frozen Tempest doesn't, like, you have to leave it on permanently to run out of mana now. Okay. This is not a nerf. It's kind of silly that they even added this. Bound Minion Phrasmadan has a 15-second duration. Wow. That's a big reduction if I recall correctly. Let's get Asmodan up here. Yeah, if I recall correctly, the cooldown used to be the same as the okay, Bound Minion. Yeah, this is a big nerf. So this used to be permanent, and it was absolutely insane. So now it heals it to full, and then gives it the buff. but the buff only lasts for 15 seconds, which is nowhere near as powerful. I think it's balanced, but it was really overpowered before. It was permanent, and you could just split push on its own. So I think that's a big nerf to Bow Minion. I think that was the only thing wrong with the hero, so I'm happy that they changed that. Now, this is a weird one. Wandering Keg no longer grants a shield. Now, Wandering Keg is Chen's bad ultimate, in my opinion. So, he had two ultimates. He had Storm, Earth, and Fire and Wandering Keg. Now, I didn't like Wandering Keg. Why? Because it gave you a shield, but you couldn't really do any damage with it, and sure, it was disruptive. But Storm, Earth, and Fire usually always killed someone, and it basically meant you won the team fight unless you made some horrible, horrible control mistakes with the Panda abilities, which I guess is not that difficult, but an experienced Storm, Earth, and Fire player can definitely work with it. So I'm not so sure about that change. I don't think that really changes Chen unless I've missed something massive with Wandering Keg. So anyway, on to Illidan. Sweeping Strike. His W has been changed. Now, Sweeping Strike now has a basic damage increase to 35%, not 25%, which is really good. And Immolation has less damage, but lasts longer. So overall it does more, but you have to move with him a bit. Okay. I think that's fine. I think it's an overall buff. It's a bit of a weird change to Immolation there, but it's an overall buff. Makes him less bursty, more sustained damage. So, I still think that's okay. Lily. Healing Brew. Now, I don't know much about Lily, so I'm just going to look at this. Healing Brew. Oh yeah, this is the lowest health one. Alright, so I don't know the ability names for her stuff. So, Healing Brew has the initial heal reduced, but the scaling increased. So that means that it's better later in the game, worse early in the game. I will say that Lily was really weak late game. I mean, her Jug of a Million Cups was actually pretty good, but besides that, she was pretty lackluster. So I think I'm okay with this. Jug of 1,000 Cups. Cooldown reduced, heal scaling increased, initial heal increased, and search range increased. Wow, that is a massive buff to Jug of 1,000 Cups. Jeez. Jug of 1,000 Cups is the one. It's basically a continuous heal as your ultimate, and it heals things that are lowest first. So if we actually look at the ability here. Where is it? There it is. So Jug of 1,000 Cups, it repeatedly heals the most injured, restoring a total of a ridiculous amount of 6 seconds. Now Jug of 1,000,000 Cups, it throws out twice as many cups, so basically doubles the healing. So the healing gets a little insane when you get Jug of 1,000,000 Cups. Now it's actually very difficult to kill Lily. That's interesting. It's interesting to see how that compares to Water Dragon now, because Water Dragon was pretty good, but not that good. Jug of 1,000,000 Cups, like Jug of 1,000 Cups and then Jug of 1,000,000 Cups was always kind of insane. So I'm not sure how those ultimates compare. We'll have to see. Muradin, second win trait. It's his heal. It has been improved, and the threshold has been increased. And then the Stoneform talent has been increased as well. Wait, what does Stoneform do? Isn't Stoneform the shield? What's all this? Anyway, Stoneform. It's probably up here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Like, I played Muradin a while ago when he was on rotation. Activate to heal 50% of your max life. Yeah, alright, I know what this is now. I was a bit confused there because of the wording. But he's basically being given extra sustainability. I don't think that was what was wrong with Muradin. I think what was wrong with Muradin is he has no damage output. So, I'm not sure if this is that much of a buff. He was already hard to kill. He was usually the last person to die. So I'm not really sure if this is much of a buff. It does give him some extra out-of-combat sustainability, though, which just means he's a better ganker, I guess. Nazebo, Voodoo Ritual, Death Ritual. Units other than lane minions no longer grant permanent health, mana when killed under the effect of Voodoo Ritual. Permanent health, mana gains improved. I think this is a buff. So you can't do ridiculous jungling and summoning killing anymore. But I think this is an overall buff. You're going to get more out of this. I'm okay with it, because Nazebo was pretty good, but he was pretty weak to a couple of really good heroes like Tyrael. So I think I'm okay with this. Nova. Now this is arguably the most hyped up hero for nerfing in a while. She's been nerfed before, and she's being nerfed now. So, first thing, Booster Shot has been renamed to Perfect Shot. Sure. Hot Shots has been renamed to Anti-Armor Shells, and the damage increase has been reduced to 300%. I still think this is better because you can get all of your damage in at once, so it's a good talent. But it no longer increases your damage output. It just makes it the same, but you get to use it immediately and then wait, cloak, and use it immediately again. Now this is the biggest one. Rewind has been removed from Nova, which is what was really overpowered about her, so I'm happy that's gone. Snipe has had a damage reduction as well, so over time it actually goes down, down, down. So I actually think this is an okay amount of nerfs. Rewind I think was really overpowered about her, so I'm happy that this has been reduced, and I think she's pretty balanced now. Sonya, Whirlwind, lifesteal amount increased to 40%, that's a lot. And Leap cooldown increased to 70%, I think that's fine, because Sonya had two ultimates. Leap was really good. Wrath of the Berserker was fine, but you didn't have enough sustainability to make it work. It was basically permanent increase, by the way. You gained so much fury, it just never dropped. But I think with the increased Whirlwind lifesteal, you can actually keep Wrath of the Berserker going. That's interesting. I think you can actually keep Wrath going now, which is really, really good. And the Leap cooldown increase does make it slightly less attracting. I still think Leap might be the better one, though. Stitches, Vile Gas. This is his trait. Increased damage per second. I was about to say this isn't needed. Okay, no, it is decreased. Yeah. Okay, I read that backwards. That was scary. Anyway, I'm happy this has been reduced because Stitches were a little on the strong side. Keep in mind, I haven't read most of these. I was supposed to be reading it on Monday and then card dump. So that's the thing, or Tuesday. Yeah. So I got interrupted. Tassadar, Distortion Beam, has had the slow reduced. I'm okay with this. Distortion Beam was ridiculous. Basically his basic attacks, yes. His basic attacks slowed by 25%, and it was absolutely insane. Oracle, duration reduced from 7 to 5. Wow. Mental Acuity reduced the cooldown by 15, up from 10. What did Mental Acuity do? Alright, just check this. There it is. Reduces the cooldown of Oracle by 15 seconds. Okay, so Oracle doesn't last as long, which is fine, because that was really, really overpowered. But it has a much, much bigger cooldown reduction when you get that ability. That seems okay. Scryer talent, movement speed increased from 15 to 20. That's here somewhere, I'm guessing. Right? There it is. Oracle duration increased by 3 seconds and grants 20% movement speed. Okay, so Scryer now increases the duration back to 8 seconds and gives you 20% movement speed for 8 seconds. Seems okay. I mean, I just still think Distortion Beam is like insane, and Shrink Ray is also pretty good. So, not sure if that really makes it viable, but it's a nice change. Increased bit of movement speed. Psionic Storm, cost range reduced, that's a big deal, not by much, but still pretty useful for your opponents, that is. Overload talent no longer increases Psionic Storm damage, instead increases cost range. I still think this is worth taking, but yeah, the damage was too much. Tassadar had way too much damage output for our support. Psi Infusion now reduced, so mana restored increased by, wow. So to 7 mana restored per target hit by Psi Storm. You could actually use this for a pushing build with Tassadar, which wasn't as good as his normal build, but the point was you could still do it, and you never ran out of mana, and you just pushed all the forts down with your storms. You can still do that, but it's better. Static Charge, critical strike damage reduced, this is fine. So basically, Psi Storm put static charges on it, and you could activate them to deal a bunch of damage. So his damage output's being nerfed in general. Second Strike, you can't wait 3 seconds in between storms. This is not that much of a nerf, but it's still something. It means you have to use the second one almost immediately. You can't just sit on it for 2 seconds and then cast it. That's fine. Void Shift, duration on. Alright, the talent has the duration increased from 0.5 to 1.5. That's actually pretty good. And Presence, effect cooldown reduced from 60 to 45. What does Presence do? You know, I actually don't know the name of a lot of the Tassadar talents, now I think about it, even though I have played him a decent amount in the past. Okay, so presence is... Yeah, this is the one that does it when you're on low life. So what did they change? Alright, the cooldown's been reduced on it. That's okay. I'm not sure if it's worth it, though. I mean, you could generally do it, but I think you still want to go for more damage output. And Archon's duration got reduced to 12 seconds, so it doesn't last for the entire team fight, although it still kind of does. So Archon's still insane. Tyrael. Tyrael was overpowered for one reason, his ultimate. What did they do? They nerfed his ultimate. They halved the damage. So he can't just use it to last hit people. Although I still think he's really viable. He's very, very good bruiser. Gets in, gets out quickly, very hard to deal with, and even if you do deal with him, he usually kills his target because of his passive. So I still think Tyrael very, very good. Just Judgment's more of a crowd control dash as opposed to some stupid massive damage output spell. Tyrande, instead of 4 seconds over 2 seconds, that was always confusing. When the bird hits something, it instantly reduces it by 2. This is worse, I think. I play a lot of Tyrande, and I think this is worse. Shadowstalk got the cooldown increased from 50 to 70. Yeah, so Shadowstalk's worse, which makes her other ultimate better. Shadowstalk had too short of a cooldown, I think. So, yeah, it's been increased. I think Empower is now way worse, though. 2 seconds instantly is not that good. 4 seconds over 2 seconds, to wait 2 seconds to get a 4-second cooldown reduction was insane. It also, you could use it with your ultimates as well, and it was just ridiculous. So, this is a pretty decent nerf to Tyrande. She's still the same hero, basically, but Empower getting nerfed is quite a big deal. Uther, Holy Light, has had the heal amount reduced. That is okay, because the heal amount was absurd. It was absolutely insane on the queue. Like, especially when you got the damage output talent, and you could nuke people for above average damage, and it did 50% of the heal. It heals for about 1,000 damage at the point when you get the damage talent. It's just insane. Holy Radiance's W has a trait difference. Damage and healing bonuses are no longer separate. Wow, interesting. Now, if I recall correctly, that's a reduced cooldown and mana back, isn't it? It's here somewhere. It's here somewhere. Is it Wave of Light? So, Gathering Radiance is the talent name here. Where is this thing? There it is. Increase damage and healing by 5% for each target hit up to 50%. So, it increases the damage for every target hit up to 50%, and it doesn't choose between heals and damage, it just increases each. Okay, so this is better than it was. I'm not sure whether that, like, what else could you get though? You can get Holy Shock, which is insane. I don't think it's worth it over Holy Shock. I don't know. I think it might be worth trying, but I think Holy Shock is better. Especially with this other healing being reduced a bit. Zagara. Infest now heals target to full health and has a 15-second cooldown. Now, Zagara is officially my worst hero in the entire game. It's actually true. I can't play Zagara. Like, I can play most heroes decently, but I cannot play Zagara to save my life. I played 8 games with her to level up to 5, and I lost all of them. And I think they were all my fault. I just absolutely suck at Zagara. Now we're looking at Infest, if I recall correctly. Ah, right. Tilt is broken. So, 30-second increased damage output by 400%. Is it still... I'm not sure if it's worth it over Envenom or even some of the augments here. It might be for pushing. I think it's balanced now. Creep Tumor now regenerates a flat 1.5 health per second, and Reconstitution increases the mana regen by 300%, a health regen by 300%. That's fine. Better early game, worse late game. And then the rest is bug fixes. There's a lot of bug fixes. Adds some user interface stuff. Block players no longer appear in friends list. Thank you. This was stupid. Defeat and victory screens now properly dismiss the options menu. That was also stupid. And corrected an issue which could cause party members to remain in the ready state after a party leader leaves the game lobby while queued. Yes, this did happen, and it was really annoying. We queue a lot as 3 or 4 stacks, and this would happen way more than you'd think. Fixed an issue which caused the game mode to visibly differ from the game mode selected in the party mode. What? Really? This was a thing? I don't know about that last one. But anyway, so overall patch, they only really buffed one or two heroes. They nerfed a lot. It's easier to nerf than buff. But Jaina got added, that's the most exciting thing, along with a whole bunch of extra skins and a bunch of balancing, which a lot of people have been looking forward to. So anyway, I'm definitely going to be trying out this patch a lot more. As I said, Guns and Gnomes has been eating most of my time in terms of video content, so I haven't really been able to play this patch very much. Yeah, I've only played one game. So I'll definitely have a bit of a look into it. But that's my entire review of the patch. I'll be doing the set review take 2, I guess, at some point. And I'll be doing Versus Series at some point over the weekend. So look forward to that. The weekly show is the set review, so I don't have to do one of those. But expect a lot of videos in the next couple of days. This is Jotto, signing off.